since my last video, two things have transpired. This video is currently being filmed on Monday the 20th at about 9:30, give or take, plus or minus. Two things have happened. Number one, the Liberty are still undefeated, and the Fever have yet to win. Again, I just want everyone to soak in these two, the second more than the first. The second more than the first. The Liberty have yet to lose, and the Fever, led by Caitlin Clark, have yet to win. Just really take a moment to let that sink in. That's your Caitlin Clark update, but that's not here or there. Before we go into tomorrow's Atlanta Dream game, we need to have a quick conversation about a couple things. Now, I will save the Tina Charles video for a later date because I need a larger sample size. And whenever Coach Wright decides to break free from this chain, from this Rapunzel-esque tower of not drawing plays and just go out there and hustle, whenever she breaks out of that, we can have a conversation about that too. But until then, there is one major thing that needs to be addressed, and you see it. It is the title of the video, and we need to get this together before we play the Wings tomorrow. Y'all, it's the home opener tomorrow in Atlanta. I don't want to ruin anything. I will be front row and center, trying to put on a smile and put on my best face. But if this one thing is not addressed soon, we're gonna have some issues. And what I mean by that is I will be complaining more than usual. But much like we discuss every year for every team, regardless the league I cover, you can tell by the shenanigans you see in the preseason what is going to be happening in the regular season. And one of the main issues that I see is Cheyenne Parker. Now, Cheyenne Parker just came off of an all-star season. Shout out to her. I would argue that it was because of the greatness of Ryan Howard, the last #1 pick to actually amount to anything. I would venture it was because of her greatness. What we saw quite a bit in the playoffs last year is a certain Cheyenne Parker, or Tyus, whatever her last name is now, seems to be going into something we like to call hero ball. I'm not quite sure why in any circumstances, regardless the matchup, why you would go into the game as you can say power forward or center. Her and Tina seem to go back and forth on, what's what, positionless basketball, blah, blah, David Fizdale. I'm trying to understand at what point I want to pinpoint it exactly and put a stop to it. At what point did Cheyenne Parker decide that it's her time to start taking jumpers? And I'm not even talking about the ill-advised threes. I'm talking about shooting the ball at all. Last game, we are up against a Phoenix Mercury team that does not have Brittany Griner. Now, even a casual that hears the sound of my voice can understand what the issue is. If they don't have a center, why are you taking threes? Why are you pulling up in the mid-range? Now, I can understand Tina. She's a former MVP. She's one of the greats. She's one of the GOATs. Let her do whatever she wants within reason. But my Christ on ice, why is Cheyenne taking jump shots again? Now, again, there are so many reoccurring factors that are just blowing me. But one of the main things I'm not understanding, again, we can talk about Coach Wright not drawing plays. We can talk about that on a later date. We can talk about the alarming amount of offense that is flowing through Tina Charles. I know I apologized last video. I'm just still beginning to see some concerns here. I don't understand why our generational talent, Ryan Howard, is an afterthought in our offense. It doesn't make sense. And would someone like to explain to me how it is that Ryan Howard is leading the teams in rebounds last game when Cheyenne Parker's our all-star center? She's too busy trying to be Cliff Paul at that. I don't understand it. You're not Rebecca Allen. You're not Sue Bird. You're not some three-point specialist. You're a friggin' center. Go in the paint and do posty stuff. it now. We're going to put an end to this before we go any further within the season. I want to never, ever have an instance where we are playing a team without a center and she is out here hoisting threes. Enough. If you want to ride and die by Tina, I don't advise it, but she's a former MVP. Do your thing. Get it off. If you want to ride and die by Ryan and Alicia Gray, then by all means go ahead. But there is no way on earth that we are losing to teams with no centers. I don't care if they got Diana Taurasi. I don't care if they have Cloud. I don't care if they got KFC. I don't care who they got with their fancy nicknames. I could care less. I don't care who Sophie's voting for this year in the election. I don't care. If they don't have a center, we shouldn't be losing. Now, there could be a greater point of why is it that the game plan was not attack the rim. But again, that's a Coach Wright issue, and it's too early in the season to rehash old points. What I want to put it into right now is the notion, and I'm here to tell you, for year number 5 in a row, I don't know who told you that you can shoot the ball, but you can't. That's not you. You are not her. You are not a stretch big. You're not Asia. It's not happening. You're not Stewie. I want you to assume the role offensively and take out the passing. You know, I thought I was going to make an AT joke because of the shooting, but I can't even do that because at least she is going to give you so much more from the passing and the facilitating and the defense. God, don't get me started on the defense. Don't get me started on the defense. Cheyenne, you got to get it together. If you think you're just going to coast off reputation, and she's in year 10, you don't know your role yet. This is the perfect opportunity to collect some wins while nobody's paying attention. Because let me tell you something, if you can't handle Sophie Cunningham coming off of a switch, if you can't back her down, I don't know what you think Cheyenne, you better get it together. You better get it together. I am all for being friendly. I am all for being nice. I know I got to see these people. I get it. And I'm prepared for that energy. That's cool. If you want to press me, it is what it is. I get it. I deserve it. That's what I get for having a loud mouth. But at the same time, I would have nothing to say if you would do your job. And now that Aries gone, I ain't got nothing better but to watch. Get it together. Championship time, gosh dang it. Get it together.